Well, Parliament has confirmed receipt of a letter from Acting Public Protector Advocate Kholeka Gcaleka of her intention to withdraw the court action by Busisiwe Mkhwebane to stop her impeachment and reverse her suspension. In a statement, Parliament says Gcaleka, should Mkhwebane proceed with the court action in her personal capacity, the office will abide by the decision of the court. President Cyril Ramaphosa placed Mkhwebane on suspension following the resumption of the impeachment process in Parliament. Mkhwebane subsequently approached the Cape High Court to challenge the suspension. Some said at the time the president sought to violate her dignity and to humiliate her in public. She added that her suspension was to prevent her investigating Ramaphosa for what she said were impeachment offences regarding Glencore and the Phala farm. Now, the acting public protector has now broken ranks and cleared the way for the impeachment hearing against Mkhwebane to go ahead. The public protector has failed on numerous previous court actions to stop the process from going ahead. Now, let's discuss this further. We're now joined via Zoom by political analyst Prof Sethulego Matebesi. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, and I do think that I might have butchered your name and surname. Apologies for that. Let me try that again. Professor Sethulego Matebesi. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Hi, good afternoon, and good afternoon to South Africans.
All right, so let's firstly get your reaction of the letter to Parliament from the Acting Public Protector Advocate Kholeka Gcaleka of her intention to withdraw the court action by Busisiwe Mkhwebane to stop her impeachment and reverse her suspension. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, well, most definitely, I think for many South Africans, this will be something completely different than her predecessor, not even predecessor, compared to the way, if you look at the trajectory along which the current suspended public protector went along. It is completely different than what the current acting public protector it's mooting. I mean, the letter in itself already indicates that to many that perhaps Parliament now has the leeway to continue, but we should not forget that Advocate Mkhwebane still has an opportunity in her private capacity to challenge this, but I foresee this continuing in Parliament, and at the end of the day, a decision will be taken. But this, for me, it's quite significant. It's a complete departure from the stance of that particular office, if you have to compare it in the way they've handled this particular issue in the past.
Now, of course, at the time of her suspension by the president, at the time, she said that the president sought to violate her dignity and to humiliate her in public. And of course, there were questions raised just about the timing of her resignation. In your opinion piece that you wrote recently, you said that the suspension of Advocate Mkhwebane underlines the need to depoliticize the public protector's office. Can you care to expand on that, please?
Yes, well, if you look, and this has nothing to do with Advocate Mkhwebane and even the current president, it's just the nature of it. And I know many people who are legal experts and those who knows the Constitution by heart will say, but it is the prerogative of the president. Yes, it's fine, but even during the tenure of Advocate, the previous public protector, there was a serious onslaught, and not from ordinary South Africans against the public protector's office. That onslaught came from politicians. And at the end of the day, the public protector is expected to compile and investigate and write reports. And it becomes very difficult when the public protector has to investigate the president of the country. And then the president himself has to make a decision about the future of the public protector. So So that's why I say we need to, and as a country, not a president, have to look in this kind of issues as to how, going forward, do we consolidate the democracy that we have. And to start with, it's by also looking at some of the current flaws relating to this Chapter 9 institutions and many others, by the way.
I mean, you draw parallels repeatedly in your opinion piece about, of course, the former public protector Thuli Madonsela and, of course, Mkhwebane. Talk to us about where you think we have gone wrong in terms of just how that office is seen. Is it more of a question of who is in office, who is in power at that particular institution? Should we not be looking at, as you rightfully say, what is the interest of the public?
No, well, we should be looking at the interest of the public at all costs, and we should not be looking at political expediency where decisions are made just to try and sugarcoat certain issues. We need somebody who can be independent from the outset and who can take decisions without fear or favor. But the problem with our current public protector, or the suspended public protector, was that from the outset, there has been concerns about perhaps a background. And the whole issue is also the vetting of people who occupy public offices. I mean, this is a key institution which is supposed to nurture and consolidate democracy, our constitutional democracy. And if you've got these serious challenges where it is not only the challenges from South Africans and from politicians, but then you also have issues around the conduct of the public protector itself, then we definitely have a huge problem. So for me, we need to be careful if we have to elect. And by the way, whether Advocate Mkhwebane will survive the impeachment, that is something else. But fact of the matter is a term is coming to an end, and I do not foresee a situation where she will get a second term. So South Africa has another glorious opportunity to appoint somebody, an individual who will only have one thing in mind, and it's to align her approach and management style with what is expected of that office, and that is to advance democracy and protect the interests of South Africans.
Final question from me, Prof, as we wrap this conversation, and as you touched on just briefly now, of course, the acting public protector has cleared the way for the impeachment hearings, essentially to go ahead against Mkhwebane. Where does the road lie for Mkhwebane now, particularly as it speaks to her reputation?
No, well, reputationally, there has been a lot of damage. I mean, if you look legally, how many court cases she have already lost, and some serious question marks around their conduct. For me, she will find, obviously, I mean, with her expertise, she will definitely find another, job afterwards. But I think going forward in terms of occupying any public office of significance in South Africa, that will be very difficult for her, because I strongly believe that the current situation has definitely dented standing in the public, although there are some muted voices who do support Advocate Mkhwebane. But for me, it's a done deal. I can't see herself occupying any public office in the near future, very soon. Yeah.
Professor Matebesi, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate you coming onto the show.